Hi, and welcome. If you're finding this reading right now, you didn't do so by accident. My name is Nova, and I'm an intuitive reader, and I'll start by pulling 4 initial cards for us here, and these will kind of act as our anchor cards during this reading. But I'm going to also place a crystal on each one of these cards, and that way, if your intuition spikes based off of what color these crystals are, or even the size, shape of them, or even the number of the placement of each card. So, for instance, if your lucky number is 3, feel free to go with that, or whatever pulls you to make a decision on these cards. I want you to really think about it before we begin. And these will be our anchors for this session today. All right, so if you picked the serpentine crystal, again, this is a little close-up. She's a beauty. And I love this one because it just really fits in the palm of your hand very nicely. And they say that this crystal is really good if you're looking to improve your communication, if you're looking to improve messaging. But yeah, great crystal for anybody who speaks a lot for a living. Get yourselves one of these. If you speak a lot for a living, definitely get yourself a serpentine crystal. So we're going to put this little bad boy over to the side. And we'll give our deck a nice shuffle. What do we need to know? I want to focus on what he's thinking right now. So anybody out there who's dealing with maybe turbulence in their love life, or maybe you found a new spark recently and you're wondering just where their head's at, or maybe what it is that they've been thinking about you, what it is that they've been thinking about others. Are they invested? Are they not invested? Do they align with our morals and our values? That's always a big one. And that's the most important one, folks, because listen, sometimes these new love romance connections can come in hot like a meteor, but if they don't align with where you're trying to go and what your goals and dreams are, it might not serve you in the future. So let's ask the cards for just a little wisdom here. And I always like to just do a friendly little knock and to just ask Spirit, okay, please give us the guidance that we are asking for today. Please give us any information that we would want to know, any warnings, any nudges in the right direction, any insight to current events that we're going through. All right, this card came flying on out, so we're going to put this one right here, and I'm going to go ahead and pull a couple others. And remember, this is our anchor card, so we're just going to leave that one for right now. And sometimes I like to do my shuffles a little differently, but for this one, I kind of like to just see what cards come out. So this one wants to come out. And I'm just going to put them here in order that they kind of start coming out of here. And that way we have a little bit of a starting point to go for this reading. So, and as I'm doing this shuffle, I invite you to hold any questions in your mind. Really focus on anything you might want to know, any insights you might want to gain from this. What do we need to know, Spirit? What's in the cards for us? What are we feeling? What do we need to know for the future? What's in our immediate future? All right. We've got the Hanged Man. I'll go ahead and turn over these first 3. Interesting. Okay. So, our first 3 cards. The first one we pulled is the Upside Down King of Wands. And the Upside Down King of Wands tells me that previously you might have had someone who seemed like they were bringing in all of this magic into your life, all of this loveliness. Maybe they felt like, just good energy, good vibes, but it could have been a little bit of a mask. And maybe that's why this card is upside down. Because sometimes the King of Wands, right side up, it's somebody who takes a lot of action. They make things happen almost in a magical way. But it's somebody who has that magnetic energy, that magnetic characteristic of they just get stuff done, And so upside down, that could be a block on your actions, on something really important that you might have needed to take, whether it's for work or in love. but this could also be a person. And if this is a romantic connection, this could be somebody who might have come across like they have everything down, like they know everything, like the actions that they are taking are aligning with you, but it could have been a little bit of a mask. So let's try and get some more insight on that. And the second card I pulled is the reverse Knight of Wands, so more wands. And typically when we get a lot of wands in a reading, it generally means that action is needed, and these two are reversed. So that tells me that there's maybe a bit of a block, whether it's internally with energy inside, or it could be love and romance based. So maybe someone you met might have seemed like they were all in, and maybe they really weren't on the inside. But the Knight of Wands, typically right side up, this signifies fast action, maybe a little impulsivity almost, but it's that fire in your belly. It's that spark to go, go, go. And upside down, it can mean that something is blocking you. So there's an obstacle standing in your way, whether it's in love, whether it's in career, but something is standing in your way and giving you a little strife. And this is like the Knight of Wands typically signifies you on your journey. It signifies, the road to your goals, the road to your dreams. So it looks like you have some sort of obstacle standing in your way that we need to figure out how to deal with. So let's see what we can get out of that. And then the third card that we pulled, this is the Hanging Man. So the Hanging Man can symbolize, taking a break. It can symbolize taking a rest. And it can just symbolize even overall emotional exhaustion. So if you have been dealing with a new love or romance connection and they maybe didn't seem like they were everything that they seemed at first, this is the card telling you, hey, it's okay to slow down and just check yourself and make sure that you're doing okay and that you're still aligned on your own hopes and goals and dreams. Because these two upside down wand cards over here tell me that somebody is either maybe masquerading as someone you want, or that they don't have their own life together in this area to be enough of a bucket filler for you at this current moment. And it could be damaging. So keep that in mind. And if you feel called to take a break, to take a breather, or to just take some you time, this is Spirit telling you, hey, that is so important in this scenario. So let's see if we can get a little more insight on why we're getting that feeling right now with this reading, because this is very interesting. Usually upside down wands tell me that action is needed, but it's not. Ooh, that one came flying out. Wow. Okay, so we have the King of Pentacles. Lots of kings already, and we've only pulled 4 cards. So the King of Pentacles here, this can be representative of 2 different things. This can be success in career, since it's pentacles, but this can also be meeting an actual king, figuratively, but meeting a king that is really good at filling your bucket, that is really good at his job, that really has his life together financially, but also knows what he wants, isn't afraid to go after it, isn't afraid to take action. This is a man that when showing up in your life, he's going to show up and he is going to cross his I's and he's going to cross his T's and dot his I's. And if he wants you, he will not stop until he wins you over. And he is going to show you every way in which he can do so. This is boombox outside of your window kind of energy. When the King of Pentacles focuses in on someone, he does not rest until he gets her. In the best kind of way, in a very respectful, gentlemanly kind of way. But this is a man who has his career on pat, who really knows what he wants and is very assured of himself. So this might be your future, and this might be someone who might be kind of telling you that they want all the same things, but in reality, that might not be as true. So just be aware of that. And we're going to put the King of Pentacles over here. Let's see what other cards spit out at us today, since we're on a roll with these cards spitting out. All right. And again, I just invite you to kind of hold in your mind anything that you might be pondering on, that might be giving you stress, that might be worrying you. whether it's love, it's romance, it's career. Feel free to hold these things in our mind as we're doing this reading, and sometimes the cards can pick up on that. Wow, okay, some more pentacles. And here we have the Page of Pentacles, and the Page of Pentacles essentially is a messenger. And here he's holding some of his wealth, some of his gold. There's a beautiful bird behind him. And sometimes I always invite anyone watching this to pay attention to the symbolism in the cards. That's why I hold them so close to the camera, because sometimes a blue bird can mean something to someone. It might be their grandmother's bird, or if you've had a partner that has passed, sometimes they come to us in bird form. So really pay attention to any symbolism, and if that resonates with you, drop an emoji form of it and just let me know that you're still with me and that it resonates. I love knowing what you guys are getting out of these readings. But typically pages are messengers. And so this could be a bit of a message for you saying, hey, the man you meet might have to do something with your career. So if this is a love path for you, this king might be coming. This might be the message that this king is coming, but only after you take a break from whatever current love romance thing that you are currently dealing with over here, because this is an upside down King of Wands. And this coming first before all of these right side up pentacles, the upside down King of Wands kind of tells me, hey, you might have someone currently that's a new spark, and he might not be your end all be all, but eventually you're going to take a breather and you're going to reevaluate and really look at whether he's filling your bucket in the ways that you are willing to fill someone else's bucket. And if that's not the case, then this man isn't for you. And that's not always a bad thing. Sometimes we internalize these situations when we find someone and we're like, dang, they're not my person. And it's not that it's a bad thing. It's actually the universe separating you from that person to open up a different doorway for somebody that's more aligned with you and where you want to go to kind of show up and come through. So don't take it as a bad thing. But I think these two reversed wands, the King of Wands and the reverse Knight of Pentacles, I think this is saying this new spark, whoever it is, they might be sweet, but they might be wearing a little bit of a mask in terms of showing you their true colors. And I think the reverse Knight of Wands here is saying, hey, this person is charging ahead full speed in this relationship and this romance, but they might not know that they're even putting on a mask. They're just charging ahead because they want romance, and it could be something like that. So just be aware of whatever current spark you're currently in, because the Hanging Man here, this guy says, hey sis, you need to take a break from whatever this is, whatever current spark you have going on. It's okay, and it is so okay for you to take a breather, take some personal time, and just really evaluate whether or not this person is really lining up with what you want out of life. And that's a healthy thing to do, by the way, because I think when you take a breather from whatever romantic situationship this is, I think you're going to realize that you still have the King of Pentacles either in play, or that this guy is not the King of Pentacles here. And we want the King of Pentacles, all right? The King of Pentacles is very good energy. He's very assured in himself, but he's a gentleman. He shows up, he wins you over. He's not afraid to win you over, and he's not afraid to work for it. And he's not afraid to put in the effort to show you that he's willing to work for it. So we love this card. But this guy coming before this guy, this is telling me that this is your message. This is your messenger. So this could mean that you need a break in order for the King of Pentacles to show up in your life, hence the Hanged Man. Or it can mean that with these both being pentacles, that you might even meet the King of Pentacles later on after this situationship has kind of run its course. You might meet the King of Pentacles in a workplace or with whatever you do. If you work from home, you might meet him through a client. You might meet him through some sort of work endeavor. So that's really interesting. So we're just going to put these two right over here. I'm going to go ahead and pull a couple more cards just to see if we can get a little more clarity here. But this is turning out to be a very juicy reading. What do you guys think? Are you still with me? If you're still with me, drop a green heart or a green circle to show me that you just saw those pentacles come through. But I love the artwork on this deck too. It's It's called the Gilded Tarot Royale. Okay, interesting. So we pulled the upside down Three of Wands, and the upside down Three of Wands kind of tells me that this card kind of tells me that there's still some sort of action block here, right? This tells, because right side up, this is a man looking at a journey almost wistfully, and he's not using all of his power. He's using it very selectively, but it's almost as if he's watching a ship sail away. He's a little sad, but he knows he still holds his own power, you know? So upside down, this could even point to you being in your feels. And if you're, upset, maybe you're upset about this scenario. So if there's a current love situation or romance situation going on and it just feels like it's not filling all your buckets, or it feels like it's maybe a good connection, but something is off, it could be that person putting on some sort of mask, or maybe just trying to win you over versus truly see if the connection is authentically aligning, which it happens sometimes, but we try to give each other grace. But this could point to the upside down Three of Wands. This can point to you being upset, and your emotions over whatever this is could be getting in the way of your future endeavors. So we do want to turn this card right side up. And I think the way to do that mentally is to really just acknowledge what we're feeling, because when this is upside down, it can mean emotional turbulence, and it can mean just emotional turbulence in the way that we almost block ourselves from feeling much of anything else. And it can be really damaging to ourselves. So make sure that you're speaking to yourself in a kind way, that you're doing a lot of self-care. And just a friendly, warm reminder that the only way to deal with our emotions is to walk through them and to sit with them and acknowledge them, not push them down. But I believe in you, and you've got this, Queen. Okay? So I think that is your major obstacle right now, is this Three of Wands. I think that's what this spread is saying. Hey, you're going to be upset for a little while. But once you kind of take a breather, you deal with this block, I think your king is coming in. And I think this page is a messenger for your king to say, hey, the king is coming, but he's not there yet, because you might have a couple other things to tie up, a couple other loose ends to tie up, so to speak. So I think once you tie up these loose ends, you take a breather for yourself, walk through any emotions that you feel called to walk through or that might be giving you trouble, because we deserve time to deal with our own stuff, and we deserve the time to recover from them emotionally. That is not weakness. That is inner strength, my dear. Okay? Give yourself some grace. This is life, and life is never easy, but I believe in you. You have what it takes. You have that inner strength, I promise. But I think this spread is saying once you deal with that, you take a break, you deal with whatever emotions are left over from this. I think this Page of Pentacles is a messenger, and I think he's trying to tell you, hey, your king is coming. And it will be through some sort of work connection that he initially appears. But I think this is a messenger for you, that he's coming. So let's see if we can get any more clarity. Let's see if we can get any more clarity on that, because I really like how this is going. This is a really good deck, or a really good spread. All right. And again, I just invite Spirit to give us any insight on the near future, anything we need to know, any advice that would be helpful for our healing, any advice that would be helpful for our love life, anything of that sort. And I invite the viewers, anyone watching, to just hold those questions in their mind. And sometimes it helps. Let's pull this one. She seems like she really wants to come out. Wow. Okay, more pentacles. So I'm getting the feeling that this is going to be a work connection. And the Knight of Pentacles kind of tells me that when you meet, I think, you know what? With the Knight of Pentacles coming after the King of Pentacles and the Page of Pentacles, this is actually turning out to be a really strong spread here. But the Knight of Pentacles, I think, is saying, hey, not only are you going to get a sign that you're going to meet this person, you're going to meet this guy. He's going to be a way better match for you than this connection is currently, that's giving you trouble or giving you issues or making you doubt yourself or the relationship. When this king comes in, after you've dealt with your emotions and after you've taken a breather after this guy, after you've done that, and this king comes in, I think you guys are going to move relatively fast, but I think it's going to feel good. And I think you're going to be okay with this moving fast, because I think you're going to be able to sense that, hey, we connect on a much, much, much stronger level than this guy does with you. So trust this new connection after you've taken the time to deal with your own emotions and to deal with anything else that you need to deal with. But when you do meet this man, I think you're going to know who it is intuitively. And I think you're going to move pretty quickly with him, because typically the Knight of Pentacles symbolizes moving forward with a good amount of speed. But it's also moving forward in a good direction, in a prosperous direction, in a fulfilling direction. So I love how this is turning out for you. Let's draw a couple more, and then we'll look at our anchor card. So let's see. And I just asked Spirit again to give us any insight. What are we thinking? What is he thinking? What is he feeling? Whether it's the king or our current situationship, current spark, current romance. Actually, I think this one wanted to come out. Getting a good feeling on this. All right, let's see what this one is. Lots of knights today. Okay, so I think it's funny that I just asked about current romance and I again pulled an upside down Knight of Swords. I don't like this current guy. I'm just going to say it. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say whatever current relationship, whatever current man you're dealing with, you're talking to, I don't know that he's it for you, because we already pulled an upside down King of Wands, an upside down Knight of Wands, which means that he might be pulling the wool over your eyes in some way, shape, or form. But then we also pulled this card, the Knight of Swords, right after I ask Spirit for any insight about our current love romance. I'm not getting a good feeling about this current guy. I think he's being either duplicitous, lying by omission, or I think he might be almost putting on a mask of sorts. And sometimes this happens in the dating world. And I'm also single, so I've been noticing that sometimes this can happen in the dating world when men, they want to be chosen, right? But they don't always, and women do this too, but we're both guilty of it. But sometimes when we are in the dating world and we're single, it becomes this almost a mind game of, I want to be chosen. I want to be chosen by this person. I like this person, so I want to be chosen, versus the way we probably should be thinking about it, which is, hey, do my values, my morals, and my principles align with this person? And I think maybe he's trying to just be chosen more so than truly making sure he's aligned with you. So there might be a little bit of, and it might not even be necessarily duplicity as him trying to be the one that gets picked. So really slow down, like this Hanged Man symbolizes, slow down in this current romance, because the slower you go, I think the easier it's going to be to see where you guys don't align. But I don't think this current relationship is it for you, because I think you have a better king coming for you, queen. All right, let's see if I can get any more confirmation on that. Spirit, I just ask you to give us some confirmation that this current romance maybe just isn't in the cards for us, or that he's not aligned with us. This card kind of came spitting out. So, wow. Okay, so this is huge. This is huge. So I just asked the cards, give us confirmation that this current romance is not for whoever is, resonating with this reading. I just asked for confirmation that this guy, to show us that this guy is not it for us. And the deck spit out the Empress reversed. This is confirmation, folks, if I have ever seen confirmation, okay? This tells me that whoever this is, it might feel good now, or it might look good on the surface, but eventually I think he's going to be so misaligned with you that he's going to, I don't want to say drain your energy or drain your power, but it could feel like that in the future. Because a lot of the times the Empress reversed symbolizes your divine femininity being drained or being put into an area that's just not yielding anything for you like it should. So the reverse Empress usually symbolizes your energy being drained, or your efforts not being fruitful, your efforts not being returned, your bucket not getting filled, but maybe you trying to fill someone else's. So I see this as a very, very strong confirmation that this guy, whoever this is not your dude. So whatever current romance, I think the Hanged Man is saying, hey, slow down and take your time and investigate this to see and make sure that this is truly not your person. But I am getting a very strong feeling that he's either kind of masking to make sure that you choose him, or that he's just genuinely not being as truthful with you as he could be. So let's flip our anchor card and see what this looks like. Oh, I love this. Okay, this is a wonderful card to turn over in this reading. So the card that I just turned over is the Sun, and the Sun represents you standing in the spotlight. It represents joy. It represents happiness. It represents fulfillment. It represents emotional fulfillment. It represents you functioning in your highest element and your highest power. And this card to flip over during this spread where we have such polar opposites on one end and another polar opposite on the other, but not in a bad way per se, but more so in a, hey, I don't think this person is your person, but I think when you take a break, you deal with the emotions that this leaves, I think that's going to make way for your true king and your true path in love to come forward. I think that's why the Messenger is here. I think that's why the Knight of Pentacles arrived after him, because I think the page was saying, hey, after you deal internally with everything that this guy leaves over for you, get ready, because your real king is coming. And when your real king comes, you guys are going to move fast. And this, our anchor card being the Sun, this tells me that in this new relationship, you are going to feel so fulfilled. You are going to feel so seen, so validated, so loved. And you are going to feel like you align with this king and this new man and this new romance so much more. This is going to be the connection you want. This is going to be the connection that feels right, that feels aligned. And this is going to be your future connection, not your current one. So take the time you need to investigate this and just make sure for yourself. Take everything here with a grain of salt, as always, and only take what resonates with you. But pulling the Sun card after all of this in your future is a wonderful, wonderful sign. And I am so excited for this journey for you in love, friends. All right, we're going to move on to card 2. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and welcome in card number 2. And this card for the crystal, this was African quartz, I believe, but you can see little bits of rock in there. Lots of little crystal bits, lots of refracting light, which is really pretty. But we're going to take this guy and we're just going to put him to the side. And I'm going to go ahead and give our deck a light shuffle. And once again, I want you guys to just hold in your mind any questions you might have, anything that's stressing you out, any insight that you want to love life, for careers, for really just whatever's at the top of your mind right now. I want you to hold it in your mind as we shuffle to kind of just get the energy out here for this reading. In Spirit, I ask that you give us insight on what we need to know, what we're curious about, any advice that we can benefit from in the near future, any love life advice on what he's thinking. And I'm just going to do one of these, and we're going to go ahead and pull a couple cards. So this one is kind of calling to me, and I'm going to pull a couple and then turn them over here in a second. And sometimes I just like to hold my hand over it and see which ones are warmer than others. This one is calling me for sure. And And we'll just kind of move. I feel like there's a warm one over here. I like this one. Actually, I think I want this one. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and take a look at these three first. And the first one I pulled was the Hermit. So for the Hermit, this upside down tends to represent coming out of a period of introspection. We're kind of coming to that point of, hey, I've taken some time for myself. I've done the inner work. And I just kind of want to come back and start to rejoin society. So this is a very good card. This tells me that you've taken the time you need for yourself to really just move forward, work through anything, and to take a break when you need it, and to do some self-care, some introspection, any shadow work. But it looks like you're coming out of this period. So let's see if we can get a little elaboration here. I'm going to go ahead and light our candle real quick. We'll just put him right back there. But let's see what this other card says. Okay, so here we have the Ace of Swords, and this kind of points to a sudden realization, and whatever this realization is, it's going to bring power with that knowledge. And sometimes these realizations can hit hard. Sometimes they can be very unexpected and a little jarring. But the Ace of Swords definitely represents enlightenment coming with this knowledge. So whether this knowledge is a little jarring, a little surprising, it might throw you for a bit of a loop, so to speak, but there is very important knowledge that's going to come with this realization that you're going to need, very much so need, to make future decisions for your best interest. So looks like you're coming out of this hermit period, which is beautiful. You've done the inner work, you've done the shadow work. And after coming out of this period, you're going to have some sort of sudden realization, something major you're going to find out. So let's see what this third card says. Wow. Okay. So 3 of Swords, right side up. This signifies a lot of pain, and this signifies betrayal. This can signify betrayal in maybe some sort of 3. This can be 3 different people involved. But upside down, this signifies maybe, I'm almost getting the sense that this kind of signifies a trifecta of sorts of either there's 3 people watching out for you. This could be even ancestral energy too. This can be 3 people that have passed that are watching over you. This can be Father, Son, Holy Spirit. This can be a signifier too of your faith and just confirmation that your higher power is watching over you. It does have your back, that you are divinely protected. But this signifies that if there was any duplicity, if there was any betrayal, that you've already moved past it. You've already dealt with your emotions. And I'm getting the feeling that this might have been what led to your hermit period upside down. So I think these being upside down signify that you've already kind of walked through this era of life. You've dealt with it. You've had this major realization moment of knowledge. It could have been something jarring, but let's see if we can get some more insight, because this is turning out to be a very interesting spread. All right, Spirit, feel free to spit out a card, kind of give us some more insight on what's going on here, because this is becoming a very fascinating story. But it would kind of make sense because this past year was the year of the snake. It was the year of shedding. It was the year of letting go of any cycles that no longer serve you, that are no longer working with you towards your goals and towards your personal avenue in life. So this kind of does track with the past, year or so that we've had astrologically. All right, this one feels very, very warm, but actually I think it's this one. Yeah. That's the one. So I'm going to pull 2 or 3 more. Like I said, sometimes I just like to feel which ones feel warm. I think this one. You know what? Let's see. I feel like a card wants to spit out. So let's see if we can get that to happen. Because sometimes I get a feeling that if you just keep shuffling, Spirit tends to kind of shove out the one card you need the most. Yep, There we go. All right, so let's see what these 3 other ones say, because I'm very interested. And sometimes when I do readings like this, it doesn't always come chronologically. So it's kind of like a storytelling with intuition type of situation, but it does start to make sense the more cards you turn over typically, which is really interesting. So let's see. Wow. Okay. So we have Temperance. And Temperance tends to stand for taking things little by little. It's almost confirmation of if you feel called to go slowly with care for yourself. And what I mean by that is if you feel the need to just keep consistently checking in with yourself, making sure you're not overdoing any certain things in life, making sure you're not, handling things by avoiding them or by destructive behaviors. Temperance really is a reminder for us to take solace in ourselves, and a reminder that it's okay to slow down, to make sure that we're doing okay, and to make sure that our rituals, our routines, and our mindset is on track. So Temperance is a good card coming out of after the Ace of Swords, because it's kind of saying, hey, this bit of knowledge could have shocked you, it could have rocked you, but just move forward in a calm manner, and just make sure that if you need to take any time for yourself and slow things down, to just make sure that you're not abusing your own mind, you're not abusing any substances, you're not, that kind of thing. You're not drinking to handle something, that you're just, even though it might be painful that you're walking through these emotions, you're taking the time to do that, and you're not using any outside sources to kind of just bury those emotions. A lot of the times Temperance can stand for us using something else to kind of fill a hole inside of ourselves or fill an emptiness inside of ourselves. But Temperance is also a reminder that, we don't have to do that necessarily. We have all of the power and all of the energy already within ourselves to deal with these types of things. And sometimes it just takes slowing down in life to do that in a healthy way. So let's see what this second card has to say. Okay, so big card coming in after this spread. Visually, even, you can kind of see this man is staring off into the moon. The moons represent our emotions. It represents shadow work. It represents feelings, temptations. It represents sadness sometimes. And he's kind of staring at this moon like, what is going on here? So this could be you dealing with your emotions, you walking through this season of life where you're kind of dealing with things that you thought might fill your bucket, which also goes back to this Hermit and the Three of Swords, where, this could have been somebody you thought was going to stick around and fill your bucket. And here you're coming out on the outside. Here you're coming out on the other side of this after you've had your introspection period here with the Hermit, after you've had some big knowledge bomb dropped on you. You've taken the time to kind of make sure that you internally and mentally and spiritually that you're doing okay and that you're on track with what you want. And here we have the Eight of Cups coming in saying, hey, I acknowledge my emotions. He's staring at the moon. I acknowledge my emotions. I've done the inner work. I've done the shadow work. This points to shadow work also, guys. I've done the shadow work it takes to really deal with these things. And if you look at the symbolism here, the cups, you'll see that all of the cups are not spilled over. Only some of them are. And that's a big indicator here with the Eight of Cups, because the Eight of Cups also represents you've been through a trying season of life. However, not all of your cups are knocked over. So there is happiness. You do have what it takes to fulfill yourself and to make sure that your own cup is being filled in the way that you deserve. But sometimes it takes us doing a lot of shadow work, a lot of introspection. And I think we also see that with the reversed Hermit. And the reversed Hermit could be pointing at the fact that you really, really needed that time and that space to have some introspection to yourself without anyone interfering. And this can just be almost like a secondary confirmation of that Hermit period. But this is saying, hey, you're on the right track. Acknowledging your emotions is not a weakness, it's a strength, because the only way out of things that are emotionally traumatizing or emotionally testing, the only way out is through. So you're doing the inner work, you're doing the shadow work you need to do to move forward, to move on, to move forward in a healthy manner. And I am very proud of you for that, by the way. But all of these kind of point, ooh, I'm getting goosebumps. I'm getting goosebumps. But all of these are looking like they're kind of starting to point to some sort of emotional relationship trauma or something happening that really just was not fun to deal with at all. It could involve 3 people. And then I think the Ace of Swords came in, and that was just like a big knowledge bomb dropped on you. And then you had to really step back, take some time to reevaluate where you were at. Now you're coming out on it, on the other end of it. You're acknowledging that you've done this shadow work, that you've done this deep inner work. And, you know, you're a little war-torn, you're a little seasoned at this point. But I think this 8 of Cups card is also telling us, hey, the rose-colored glasses are off. You know, we've been through this season. We've walked through the forest to see the trees. We're looking at our own shadow work saying, wow, that was tough, but not all of our cups are knocked over. Hope is not completely lost. We've done the inner work we need to do, and we are moving forward in a better and brighter path. So let's see what this next card says, because this is turning out to be ooh, I love this for you. Sorry, got so excited on this one, guys. So the 4 of Wands. This is a beautiful card. This is a happy ending card if I've ever seen one. This is essentially saying, hey, you've been through the ringer here, sis. You know, I think to almost anyone, this spread would show, hey, we have been through the ringer. We're doing the inner work. We've had a bit of a knowledge bomb dropped on us, and we've had to take some time to really like check in with ourselves and make sure that we're on the right track, that we're going the route that we want to go. And then this is your happy ending. So happiness is coming, that family, that life that you want, that feeling of the grass always being greener on the other side, that feeling is going to end soon. And that's what this card is telling me. This card is telling me that your happy ending and the things that you desire, the things that you want, they are coming. So let's see if we can get some clarification on what all of this really means. And maybe if there's anyone new coming into your future sooner than later. So let's see if we can get a card to spit out at us. In Spirit, I just want to ask that you give us any insight, any guidance to what he's thinking. All right, these 2 want to come out, and they can come out. I just ask that you give us any insight, any guidance into what he's thinking, if this is a new love match, if this is maybe an old flame coming into the picture again. Let's see what we can get out of here. All right, I'm gonna pull 2 more. Oh, that one looks like he wants to come out too. All right, 1 more card, and then we'll see what these say. You know what? Maybe I'll do it this way. All right, Spirit, what do we need to know? What answers do we need to help guide us today? All right, this one feels very warm. All right, so I pulled 4 more cards, and our first one, wow, okay, so we have the Hanged Man, and this just points to the fact that it's okay to take a pause. It's okay to take a break. It's okay to take some time and reflect. And a lot of this spread is saying, hey, you need to take some time to yourself to reflect, to check in with yourself, to make sure you're okay. Because sometimes we get into this survival mode of fight or flight, and we don't even realize how often we're living in that mode, because today's work mindset is very much so go, 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 hustle, 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 to the point where we've almost taught ourselves as a society that we don't deserve breaks. And that is the farthest thing from the truth, because I'll tell you what, if your mind, your body, and your spirit gets too exhausted to keep going, nothing works. So the Hanged Man is a reminder to take the time that you need to rest, to recover, for introspection. Lots of introspection here, but I'm going to put this guy over here. And I feel like he comes after this Ace of Swords. Just intuition is kind of saying, I feel like he kind of goes hand in hand with Temperance over here. Almost because Temperance is, the Hanged Man is kind of a reminder of, hey, nourish yourself, take a break when you need to take a break. And Temperance is almost like, hey, don't abuse certain things to just kind of make you feel better. Temperance is, good coming in when you're in tune with what you need, how much you need, and just overall balance. And then I think this Three of Swords, this Upside Down Hermit, and the Ace of Swords all kind of go together here, because this is giving me I feel like these three cards are kind of what you've walked through in the past with whatever hurdle, whatever relationship, emotional love pain this was. I think you went through something very hurtful here, had a sudden realization. And then I think the Hanging Man and Temperance comes in and says, hey, we acknowledge the fact that you went through all of this, but just a reminder, take a break when you need to take a break. Become the hermit if you need to become the hermit, to kind of check in with yourself and make sure you're not overdoing it in any area of life. This could be drinking, this could be smoking. When we get emotional, we look to these things to kind of help us get through something. And sometimes these cards both appear when it's almost a reminder of, hey, don't overdo that, because at some point when we overdo that, it becomes running away from our emotions. And even when they hurt, it's best to walk through these emotions, acknowledge them, say, I see you, and get through them, because the only way out is through, folks. So I think the Eight of Cups and the Four of Wands comes here at the end as a reminder of, hey, once you get through all of this, your happy ending is still waiting. It is still there. It's not gone anywhere. Let's see what the second card has to say. Okay, this is great. Six of Cups. So we're starting to see more cups in this reading, which tells me that, there's some good stuff coming in the future. And I think this is a future card. This feels like something coming to you in the future, but also pay attention to the symbolism here, folks, because sometimes symbols will resonate with certain people. So here we have monarch, butterflies. We have this kid holding a frog, and we have blue flowers. We have sunflowers. We have mice, and even a cat, and a girl and a boy. So the Six of Cups overall kind of means that you're slowly starting to realize what truly fills your bucket, what truly makes you feel full, and you're starting to recognize how to find that in somebody else in terms of dating or in terms of partnership. You're figuring out not only what fills your own bucket the most, but how that can also translate to you being able to fill someone else's bucket too. Because I'm a big believer in, we have to, if we truly want a solid partnership, we have to make sure that ourselves are whole and that our own bucket is getting filled by ourselves before we can start to give to another. Because someone whose bucket is half full can't give to someone else, if that makes sense. You got to be a whole human before you give parts of yourself to anyone else. So I think this is a great card. I think this is saying that there's a lot of prosperity. There's a lot of happiness coming in your future. And generally, a lot of cups means that emotions are going to dominate. So I think this is emotional fulfillment. I think the Eight of Cups. So what I kind of get out of this is, this Eight of Cups is kind of saying, hey, you've been through the ringer. We see that you're a little depleted here, but it's not all gone. It's rebuildable. You've done the shadow work you need to do, like I said. And then here comes in the Six of Wands, where all these cups are now full again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so we have 8 cups, 6 cups. So interesting. Lots of numbers. And the interesting part here is I'm almost getting like a number connection. So 8 of Cups and 6 of Cups, 2 of these cups are gone, and there's cups spilled over here. So I think maybe whatever knowledge appeared here, I think that knowledge might have translated over to this somehow, where you might have even realized, hey, I'm not actually being fulfilled by these certain things, and I might have been not disillusioned or lied to, but maybe perspective changed, or maybe there was a paradigm shift. And sometimes when we have these giant realizations with these Ace of Swords cards, it can really change how we see things. It can change perspectives drastically. So this would kind of make sense because now you're down a couple cups, but you're a lot happier. So this could be a giant perspective shift or a paradigm shift because of this Ace of Swords. And this Four of Wands here is still your happy ending over here. So you're still doing great with that happy ending. Let's see what these other two cards say. Wow. Okay. So we have an Eight of Swords, and this tells me that whatever this Ace of Swords knowledge was, it cut you really deeply, sis. And I'm very, very sorry, because generally the Eight of Swords symbolizes somebody pulling the wool over your eyes. As you can see, she can't see what's around her, and there's lots of weapons around her, and her arms are tied. So a lot of the times this card can also point to situations or scenarios where you feel like you have no power over anything. Like you feel like everything's trying to cut you from every direction. Everything's trying to hurt you, but you don't understand how you can fix it, or you don't see a way where you can even combat this, because you might have not even known how bad this situation was because you probably didn't see it. And this could be duplicity. This could be lying. But this lines up very, very well with the Ace of Swords. So this card tells me this is the issue at hand that you dealt with in the past. This is something very hurtful, very jarring, this could be cheating. This could be cheating with someone you know. This could be cheating with a friend even, dare I say. This could be something as hurtful as that. Because then you have this Ace of Swords coming in, and swords represent knowledge. It represents clarity. And so much so to the point where it's almost painful. But then this Ace of Swords comes in, and the Ace of Swords is almost like spirit coming in, saving you and saying, hey, this might be a painful realization, but it is going to save you in the long run, and it is going to save you so much strife, time, and energy, even though it might hurt. So this makes a lot of sense if we look back over at this spread from the past. So I'm going to say this Eight of Swords, I think, was probably the situation that was going on that you didn't have information, or that you didn't know about, or that somebody might have even been lying about or cheating on. And then this was the knowledge that came to you and said, hey, we're going to illuminate whatever is happening here, because this is either ancestry coming in, this is divine protection, or this is just you finding it out on your own. But either way, you figured it out. And I'm very glad that you did, because even though these things do tend to hurt, they do illuminate the dark parts of our lives that would not be illuminated otherwise. And they deserve to be illuminated, because things that are not can sometimes make us feel happy. But if we don't feel happy in an authentic way, it's only going to hurt us later on in life. So as painful as this realization was, I do think it needed to happen for you to be happy and to have your ideal happy ending over here. And you deserve that, Queen. Trust me. So let's pull this next card. Okay, so powerful card here, all right? And this does make sense with this spread. This is a giant transformation spread here, okay? So I want you guys to look at it in terms of past, present, future, but this is a big transformation card. So Three of Swords, we had something major happen that hurt, that was painful. It might have even flipped your life upside down. Sometimes these reversals can symbolize literally you getting the rug pulled out from under you. It can symbolize chaos. It can symbolize just emotional upheaval. Then we have the reversed Hermit. Maybe you were very social before this, whatever it was, happened. And now you kind of have gone into this period of, oh my God, I need to work on myself. I need to figure my own emotions out, which is totally valid, by the way. And then you have our swords, which we just talked about, which is knowledge coming in. And this death card, it looks a lot scarier than it is, folks, but death symbolizes also rebirth. And death can mean the end of a relationship. It can mean the end of something that doesn't serve you anymore. And I think with this spread, it really is telling us, hey, this season of life that you've walked through over here, this no longer serves you. This is no longer kind to you. The people involved in this are no longer aligned with your goals, with your energy, with your aspirations, with your morals and your values and your principles. And sometimes when we see a cleaving of a relationship or of a friendship or of a career, a massive cleaving after, knowledge is illuminated, we do get this death card. But it does look scarier than it is, I promise, because sometimes death can be the best thing that can happen in these scenarios, because death comes in and it's almost like a phoenix, right? So death comes in and it does end something that has started to already wither away, kind of like pruning a tree. But death is also symbolic of that phoenix energy, So he's coming in after this saying, hey, I see the pain that you went through. I see the emotionality of this. I see how hard this hit you, how hard this rocked you. But this is coming in saying this no longer serves you and serves your life and your goals and your energy and where you want to go for yourself. And death is coming in as confirmation, just saying, hey, you deserve better. Okay. Hear me on that. You deserve better, Queen, than whatever this was that happened, this emotional relationship trauma that happened. Death is coming in as confirmation and spirit saying, hey, you deserve better than this horse poop, But it's also transformation embodied in a card. This says this might be an ending and it might hurt, but something does have to end for you to transform into this. And I think that's a very beautiful thing. So don't be afraid of this card if it ever manifests. It doesn't always mean something literal. And I think here it is very, very figurative, because I think it's showing, I think these swords are showing, you having love for someone in a relationship, you not knowing what's happening in the background. And that could be cheating. That could be something else, but I'm getting a cheating vibe here. And like I said, as with everything, take it with a grain of salt. Take what resonates with you and feel free to leave the rest. And by the way, if anything has been resonating with you so far, drop a sword in the comments or drop a little blue stone like in this sword and just let me know. But I think this death card is coming in saying, hey, this relationship, this love no longer serves you. It is time for you to step into your power again. It is time for you to move forward and transform into that beautiful little phoenix I know you are. So let's see what our key card is here. And I am always so excited to flip these over because they're always so good with the spread that we have going on. So we have lots of cups. We have a very happy future going here. We have checking in with ourselves to make sure we're not abusing anything, whether that's our own self-talk, whether that's, a coping mechanism. Temperance and the Hanged Man are both saying, hey, take some time to yourself, take as much time as you need to make sure that you're healing in a healthy way. Death is our transformation card. That's a big, big transformation card. I don't believe that that's literal at all in this spread. It just isn't giving that vibe at all. And the way this reads is, this is definitely a transformation card. And this kind of points to you feeling out of whack in the past in whatever love endeavor you were in. You feeling in your gut something was wrong, something was going on, you not really knowing what that was. And then boom, we have the Ace of Swords that comes in and says, hey, here's the knowledge to illuminate whatever worry it was that you had and to confirm that gut feeling. And then death comes in, transforms it all, and lets you go down this new path in life where you're going to be a lot happier. So in saying that little summary, let's flip over our main card. Oh, I'm gonna cry. I love this for you. Oh, this makes me so emotional. This is such a good card to pull as our major card here. The High Priestess. Oh, I'm tearing up right now for you, Queen. I just want to say, this is Queen energy. This whole spread, if you are watching this right now, drop a crown, because this is a Queen spread. And I just want to acknowledge the fact that whatever season of life you have walked through here, you are killing it. You are doing a great job, and you are a queen for going through whatever you had to go through here and coming out better for it on the other side. Good for you. This tells me the High Priestess, as our key card here, as our anchor card, the High Priestess tells me that you are magical, and you have magic inside of you, and you have everything inside of you that you already need to dominate every obstacle here. And it looks like you already have, because if this is your past where information has been illuminated and you're at this transition point where you're starting to go down a better life road where you're going to find your happy ending, the High Priestess card as our anchor card is saying, hey girl, not only are you a queen, but you have all the magic already in the world, already inside of you, that you will ever need to manifest this destiny and to manifest this happy ending for you and to manifest your ideal partner. And by the way, the High Priestess is a card of divine feminine. It's a card of inner magic. It's a card of inner power, of inner strength. It's a card of channeling the energies around us, whether that be water, whether that be land, whether that be kindness, you know. It's a card that says, hey, when you tap in to that inner power and that inner energy that you have, that inner intuition, that inner magic, you are going to transform completely into a new version of yourself that is going to be better, beautiful, brighter. What did I just say about the Phoenix, right? This is a Phoenix card if I have ever seen a Phoenix card. All right, folks, we got the Death card, and he comes in, he says, nah, girl, this relationship was not doing anything for you, and they kind of stink because they broke your heart. And then, boom, we have the High Priestess, and she comes in after Death and says, hey, the old version of yourself might have had to come to an end so you can grow into this new magical version of yourself that has far more power and far more emotional intelligence and far more creative capability to drive forward in your endeavors in the future. But this is a beautiful, beautiful transformation spread. And I am so excited to see where life leads you, because you are going to get this happy ending. And that makes me so excited for you. Okay, so we're going to move on to card 3, but if this resonated with you at all, please drop a sword in the comments, because this is a wonderful spread to have, especially if you feel like this kind of resonates with cheating or with with you having to take a period of time away to really just focus on yourself and work on yourself. You're going to get that happy ending. You're going to find that ideal partner. It's already in the cards. It's fated. You have the best transformation here. And your anchor card is the High Priestess. Oh, girl, you got it. You already got it. It's coming for you. You have great things coming for you. So in saying that, I'm going to quell my excitement, and I'm going to go ahead and grab our 3rd card. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and welcome in card number 3. And for this card, we have this beautiful black crystal. I love the way the light shines on this one. You can see it right there. And I want to say this might be black tourmaline, but I'm not entirely sure. So let me know if it's not in the comments. But yeah, I love this one. It just feels good in the hand, you know? I love when crystals feel good in the hands. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and give this deck a little shuffle. I did do okay, so we have the 3 of Swords that apparently wants to come out. And we're going to go ahead and draw a couple other ones just in case, because I want to get a good idea of kind of what we're dealing with initially. With these readings, I like to draw sometimes a couple at a time, and then if the deck tends to spit any out, you know what? We'll take this one. And then I'm going to draw, let's say 2 more. Sometimes I just go based on intuition too, but I always like to ask Spirit to give us any advice, any insight. What do we need to hear? What do we need to know about what he's thinking, about where he's at, if we have any new love romances, any new flings? What is he thinking? Where is he at mentally? What's his emotional maturity like? What's his emotional intelligence like? Is he ready for a relationship, or is he just kind of trying to get the girl, so to speak? What do we think, Spirit? What do we need to know? Oh, that one wants to come out. All right, we'll pull one more. And I invite you, as always, to keep whatever questions you might have in your mind as I'm doing this reading, as I'm shuffling. And just kind of feel free to focus on those questions, and sometimes they can manifest in the reading and in the deck as well. And that one looks like he wants to come out too. So we have our first couple cards. Let's go ahead and see what we're working with here. We already have the Three of Swords. And the Three of Swords essentially tells me that there's heartbreak involved. There could be three people. Sometimes the symbolism of three is powerful with this card. But basically, this is something that pierced your heart, something that hurt. This can be duplicity. This can be cheating. This can be lying by omission. So be very careful of that. We're going to put this guy over here for right now. And then this second card, wow. Okay, so we pulled the reverse 10 of Cups. So right side up, this is fulfillment. This is happiness. This is you having community, you having your ideal home, your ideal life. This is the end all be all. Sometimes this is what you tend to see when you imagine yourself happy, fulfilled, having your own happy ending. But reversed, this can mean that you might have thought whoever this person was going to end up to be your happy ending, and they could have done something, which I'm assuming is from the Three of Swords, because that stands for heartbreak. But you could have thought that this person was your happy ending, and that kind of got flipped upside down. The rug got pulled out from under you. Your whole perspective was rapidly shifted. So let's see what this third card says. Okay. So reverse Six of Pentacles. Right side up, this card is about weighing options. It's about judgment. It's about taking your time to be very careful that the choices that you make are lining up with what you truly want, and that you're seeing judgment and you're seeing the whole picture. Because if you look down here a little bit, it has hands reaching out almost as if to almost secretively kind of grab that wealth that he is weighing up here. So reversed, sometimes this can mean, again, duplicity, but also being very, very careful of who you allow into your inner circle, and to just be aware and to be careful that they're not taking more than you're willing to give, and that they're not expecting you to give more than you're willing to give also. And this can be someone draining your energy too, because sometimes the visual on this card gives me the vibe of maybe a friend with the wrong intentions, maybe a lover with the wrong intentions. If you have any sort of spotlight with your work, with what you do, or with wealth right now, there could be someone with not the best intentions hanging around you. So not sure if that's love or relationships, but it could have to do with money. It could have to do with this heartbreak involving money. But I'm going to swap these two around, because I feel like this Three of Swords directly led to you finding out that someone was take energy. The distribution wasn't evenly weighed here with this Six of Pentacles. And that kind of flipped your whole perception of your whole life, essentially. Your whole day-to-day routine, all of everything that you thought you wanted just got flipped upside down, literally. So let's see. Wow, Six of Wands. Okay. So Six of Wands, this is a pretty good card. Six of Wands kind of symbolizes you moving in the right direction, you having the capability, the energy, the power within you to pursue all of the things that you want to manifest in life. But it can be a little scary. It can be, a new road, a crossroads. It can be you finding this energy, this give and this take energy, and kind of replenishing your own bucket in order to go down this new road. So this can be a new path for you. This can kind of point to your present of, hey, you might be going towards a new direction, but it's going to be good. And you're going to be able to manifest the things that you want out of that direction. So let's relight our candle, because this keeps going out. I'm not entirely sure why. It's very strange. But we'll put that there. And let's see what else we can get from these cards. And sometimes like I did before, I just like to feel which ones are hot. And sometimes, ooh, yeah, I like that one. All right, I'm going to pull a couple more here. And again, feel free to just hold those questions in your mind. What do we need to know, Spirit? What is he thinking? Give us any guidance for the future. All right, and I'm going to let the last one actually spit out at us, because sometimes I like when that happens. It's just a little bit of extra confirmation. All right, that one seems like he wants to come out. All right, let's see what those have to say. All right. Oh, interesting. So we pulled Temperance next, and Temperance tends to be a reminder of duality, balance, but also not abusing any methods we choose to help us cope. So this is coping, but making sure that you're not leaning too hard on any coping mechanisms, and that could be drinking, that could be smoking, that could be anything that we use to kind of help ourselves get through a tough time. Temperance sometimes comes in and says, hey, we acknowledge that you've gone through a hard time here in love and romance, but just make sure that you're not damaging yourself or your body or your mind or your spirit with either self-talk that could be damaging or actions that could be damaging. So Temperance is more so just a reminder of, hey, even in the healing process, balance, 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 and just you deserve to feel good, but in a healthy way. And that is a key with Temperance. So I feel like Temperance is kind of maybe where you're at presently. And then the Six of Wands might be your new direction. All right, so let's pull the next card. Okay. So we have a Page of Swords. And typically the pages are messengers. So a Page of Swords, and like I said, feel free to look into any of this symbolism too. If bluebirds mean a lot to you, there's two bluebirds in here. And typically the Page of Swords, he shows up when there's been a delivering of knowledge that may have hurt. It may have been very, very disruptive. It might have been a complete shock to you. But typically the Page of Swords is a messenger that brings knowledge that was very, very unexpected. And sometimes it can be a difficult message too. And sometimes bluebirds also symbolize loved ones that have passed on. But if blue is your lucky color, drop a blue heart in the comments. Just let me know that you're still with me and that this is resonating. But I think that this Page of Swords may have come in over here as the bit of knowledge you might have needed with whatever fling, whatever new spark this was. I think the Page of Swords probably came in first, and that was the delivery of unsavory information. And I'm so sorry about that, Queen. You deserve happiness. You deserve all the love and light. But I do think this Page of Swords came in, delivered some knowledge that might have hurt. And I think it brought in the Three of Swords, which can symbolize cheating with the 3. It can symbolize heartbreak. It can symbolize the end of a relationship. It can symbolize devastation. Just really something, this looks like knowledge that got delivered and then it pierced your heart. And then you realized afterwards somebody was taking too much or something that they should not have taken. All right. And that's with the Six of Pentacles. And then I think this reverse 10 of Cups is kind of saying, once you realized all of these things over here, it really shook you to your core with, oh, I'm getting goosebumps. I'm so sorry, Queen. If this feels like it resonates with you, I am so sorry, because these hard times are never easy. They're never fun. But I will say, without the dark, we do not have the light, folks. And sometimes it takes our most challenging periods in life to really show us the amount of light that we have inside of ourselves and the amount of light working that is possible for us, and that how much good and love and light that we can breathe into others sometimes only shows itself after really, really hard life situations. So I think whatever you realized over here, whatever this messenger of knowledge was that hurt your heart, that showed that somebody was overtaking or taking too much or taking the wrong thing from someone else or you, I think it ripped the rug out from under you a little bit. And I think it really shook you up, and it's giving me goosebumps. And I'm so sorry you had to go through all of this. But I think now we have Temperance and a new path with this Six of Wands. And I think Temperance is a reminder of Don't be too hard on yourself. Watch how negative your self-talk is. If you wouldn't talk to yourself like you would talk to the 5-year-old you need to be a little gentler, and you deserve to be, okay? You deserve love, you deserve kindness, especially when you're speaking to yourself, my dear. And I think after Temperance, that's just the reminder of, heal, but heal in healthy ways, okay? No overusing anything to help us cope. And then 6 of Wands comes in and he says, hey, I've got the magic in me that I need to create a new future, to create a new path. He's going down a new path. It might seem a little dark, might seem a little scary, but you've got the magic in you. Wands is magic. So you've got the capability in you to manifest all the things that you want in this life, and you're going on a new path. Let's see what this next card says. I'm excited for this one. Okay. So here we go. We have the reverse sun. And what reverse sun tells me that, especially after pulling these two, the reverse sun is symbolic of, so when it's right side up, it's symbolic of you standing in your spotlight, of you really breathing in love and life, of you standing in wholeness, you standing in light, you standing in faith. This is your spotlight moment. This is you kind of coming into your spotlight moment and being like, oh yeah, I know who the heck I am and don't mess with me. You know what I mean? This is confidence. This is a great, great card. This is you standing in all that you are in the most healthy, positive way. But reversed, it can point to you having a block there. So I think all of this that you just walked through, this very trying season of life, I think it ended up with you maybe being a little shaken in your own right and in yourself. So you might not feel like you deserve the spotlight right now, but Queen, yes, you do. That's where I come in here, and I'm a reminder saying, honey, you have worked so hard to get through this, and I am so proud of you, okay? And you can do this. And that this reversal will turn right side up, but you just need to have a little introspection. Make sure you're doing your shadow work. Remind yourself that you do deserve to stand in the spotlight. You do deserve happiness. So I think that feels like, one, with this reverse 10 of Cups, like you're maybe not worthy of this future that you want, that you're maybe not worthy of standing in your own right, of standing in your spotlight, of being loved the way you deserve to be loved. And I am here to tell you that both of these cards, my love, deserve to be turned right side up, because yes, you do. You don't need to beat yourself up. You went through a trying period of life, but that does not mean that you need to beat yourself up forever, okay? Don't beat yourself up. You deserve all the love that you are capable of giving and more. I promise you. All right, let's pull a couple more, because this is turning out to be a pretty powerful reading, I feel like. So let's see if we can get any spitting out at us. Feels like my recent readings, it's been a lot of heartbreak lately, but like I said, sometimes it takes the dark to bring out how powerful our light is inside of us. So I like that card. We're going to take that one. Let's see. All right. I like that one. And then I'm going to do one of these. All right, Spirit, what do we need to know? What healing messages do we need to have? All right, I really like this one. All right, so I pulled our next few cards. This was the first card. Shall we look at it together? Okay, so, wow, okay, you've been very down on yourself, and we're gonna turn that around, sis, okay? This card is also telling me that you've been a little down on yourself, but 3 of Cups right side up is happiness, fulfillment. It's almost cathartic with this 3 of Swords, because the 3 of Swords is symbolic of 3. This is symbolic of 3. So if your lucky number is 3, drop a 3 in the comments. Let me know you're still with me and that this resonates. But 3 of Cups, this could also mean that this energy is getting healed. So as you heal, you might be healing this energy, and you might, so upside down, this means that you're probably a little hard on yourself. You probably don't feel worthy of your cup being full or capable of filling somebody else's cup. And I'm here to tell you gently, as a reminder, that yes, you are, and you have all the power within you to do all of these things to the best of your abilities. I believe in you. You have this in you already. Somebody knocked you down in your past and made you think that you were not capable and you were not worthy of love, of success, of having that beautiful future that you dreamed of. And I am here to remind you, sister, that yes, you are. Absolutely, you are. And this will turn right side up, but we got to work on our self-talk. We got to work on our confidence. We got to work on our shadow work, okay? But this, I want these three cards to change for you, because I feel like these are this upside down 3 of cups, this upside down sun, this upside down 10 of cups. This is telling me that it's all self-perception. I think this is how you view yourself might have changed in a negative way because of what happened before in a relationship or a romantic endeavor. I think it really, really hurt you, and you might have this new perception of yourself that might not be the healthiest. And that also might be why Temperance is coming in and the 6 of Wands is coming in saying, let's change this energy here, because how you're dealing with this and how you're speaking to yourself and how you're seeing your own hopes and dreams, it's not serving you, Queen. It's not serving you. You deserve better than to see yourself in this way. You deserve love. You deserve light. You deserve happiness. You deserve success. All right? Let's see what this second card says. Upside down 7 of Swords. Okay. So, right side up, this is giving protective energy. It's giving clever as a fox. You're having to outsmart someone clever here. I'm getting the sense that there might have been someone kind of trying to pull the wool over your eyes, or maybe not being fully truthful. You feel like you have to be guarded all the time, both physically, mentally, watching your back, trying to protect yourself from someone clever. And upside down, this can mean that that time period has ended. So I like that this card is reversed, because this almost signifies that, hey, you've come out of this period of space where you might have felt intuitively that you had to stay on guard for as long as you could to just keep getting by. And that's not fair to you. And you deserve much better than that, by the way. So let's see what this card has to say. Oh, I love this. Okay, so I pulled the Empress card right side up. And this is confirmation. This is the message here. So the overall message of this spread is that you are going to become more powerful, more reputable, more successful, more full of that divine feminine inner magic that we women use to manifest all of these things that we strive for. And that is real. But folks, by the way, that manifestation and visualization energy, that will bring things into your life. So please get those vision boards up. I'm telling you, they do work. But this Empress is coming in at the end of this spread, not only acknowledging the pain you've gone through in the past and the heartbreak you've gone through in the past, in this period of maybe seeing someone's mask come off that you weren't expecting. It's a take energy. And they kind of warped how you see yourself, in that you might not think that you're worthy of this happy ending. You might not think that you're worthy of your ideal partner. You might not think that you're worthy of someone coming in and filling your bucket in the ways that you internally really, really want. And sometimes it feels strange after heartbreak to allow ourselves to have these hopes and these dreams again, but you deserve it. And this is confirmation. This is the message here in this whole reading, I believe. And I think this is saying, hey, it might be a scary time of life because you're going down this new path. You're figuring out new rituals, new ways of dealing with things that are healthier, that serve you better. But this new path, although it might be a little scary at first, it's going to lead you to your higher self. And it's going to lead you to the best version of yourself, the most powerful version of yourself, and the version of yourself that has the most ability to manifest all of these things that she wants. This is where we want to get, folks. So I think she comes in at the end of this 6 of Wands spread. And you know what? I'm just going to pull one more card before I take our major card up here. And I'm going to see what spits out. But this is, again, a very big transformation spread here. Definitely some heartbreak involved. Definitely some duplicitous behavior involved that we've had to kind of walk through as a season of life. But you know what? You're going to be so much stronger for it, and you're never going to have, the same experience twice. We always learn from the things we have to go through, that we're forced to walk through in these seasons of life. And one day you might even meet someone who has your exact scenario kind of play out, and they might look to you for guidance and for help. So that's what I always try to remind people is, even in our worst seasons of life, you never know who might appear in your life in the future. We'll take this one. Who might need your guidance or your help from this exact scenario. Life tends to work in strange ways like that. Okay, so we have the upside down Wheel of Fortune. So typically the Wheel of Fortune points to the choice is yours. It's up to you. There's many options at play. There's many avenues. There's many roads to go down. But reversed, this is saying that this is fate. This is fated for you. Whatever this new path is, where you're coming into a more powerful version of yourself, this is not even up to you. This is fate. This is destiny. This is divine intervention when this is upside down. Sometimes this is the world saying, hey, we're going to pluck you out of somewhere that does not serve you anymore, that is not beneficial to you anymore. It's almost like the gods plucking you out and putting you on a new path, saying, hey, this is going to be a lot better for you. And sometimes the Wheel of Fortune reverse can be your belief system. It can be something pulling you back to this new path that you're going down, but this is divine intervention. Usually the upside down Wheel of Fortune can point to other things at play. And by other things, I mean, it can be fate. It can be destiny. Something has intervened in this scenario, plucked you out of it, put you on a new path and said, this path will serve you, but this is gone. It will not serve you anymore. It's not energy that you want in your life. So let's get it out. Let's get it out of there. You deserve better, queen. And if this person over here is the one that has been making you feel like you are not worthy, that you are not enough, that you don't deserve to stand in your own spotlight, that you don't deserve to have your cup full, that you don't deserve this happy ending, get them the heck out of there. Because I'll tell you what, that is the farthest thing from the truth. And I think that's why we pulled this upside down Wheel of Fortune card here. I really do think this card was almost divine intervention coming in and saying, hey, we're going to take you out of this and we're going to pluck you on and put you on a new path. And you're going to thrive here. You're going to thrive in this new path. Okay. So let's pull over, or let's see what our anchor card has to say. I love this. Okay. So we have a reversed Queen of Wands. And this tells me that you're still, even in the near future, you might be a little down on yourself. You might be doubting what you're capable of, what you're worth, the magic inside of you. And by magic, I mean the ability to produce the things that we strive for, right? The things that are on our immediate goal list. You doubt your power. And you should not. You should not, because this is telling me that you have everything in you. You are a magical woman, all right? When you channel that divine femininity and when you channel that inner spark, that inner flame that you have within you, foster it. Any negative emotions, any negative self-talk, be an alchemist. Take that negative self-talk, imagine it as fuel, and put it in the fuel tank of where you want to go. Imagine your body, imagine your spirit as a vessel, like a car. Take all of this negativity and try to be an alchemist, and imagine taking all of this negative self-talk, all of this negative perceptions that you've been allowed to believe and maybe even taught to believe recently with this past fling. Take all of this negativity and put it as gas in the gas tank of your soul, because this woman is stoking the fire, and you have a fire inside of you that deserves to be stoked, queen. And take this negative energy, put it into that fire and stoke it. Use it as fuel in your gas tank. And when you do that, when you stoke your inner fire and you add that fuel, you will accomplish incredible things, because that is the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands is capable of all things. And she is the one who also ignites that inner fire again and reminds us who the heck we are. But this reversal does tell me that you have a little bit of shadow work to do. But the good news is that I think once you take the time to really look inward and say, hey, am I being nice enough to myself? Am I nourishing myself, body, mind, and spirit? I think once you really do that and you do that inner work, you're going to become the most powerful version of yourself. And you're going to have so much success, and you're going to become this empress up here that you don't even know that you are yet, but you are. So I think this is a great spread. And I think this is probably one of the most hopeful spreads I have seen in a very long time. This full of hope, full of transformation. We need to work on our self-worth and our self-talk. But once we do that, we are going to stoke that inner fire, and we are going to become the empress we always knew we could be and that we deserve to be, queen. So I love this for you. If card number 3 resonated with you, please drop a fire emoji for our Queen of Wands over here and let me know. But I'm going to go ahead and move on to card number 4, and we'll go from there. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and welcome in our last card, card number 4. And if you chose this card, this crystal on top is a beautiful little rose quartz. So we're just going to take this and kind of set that to the side for now. I'm going to take our deck and we're going to do just a light little shuffle here. So I like to welcome spirit to just bring in any energy, any guidance, anything we need to know. Anything we want to know. And I also invite you, like last time, I also invite you to just hold any questions in your mind as we're doing this and just kind of see what's been stressing you out, what's been at the forefront of your brain this week, what's been giving you a little extra strife in life. What can we hold in the front of our minds to kind of just help guide us in this reading? It can be romance, it can be career, it can be your personal life, your own growth. It can even be a new fling. It can be a new man, a new woman. And for the first couple cards, I'm just going to pull whichever ones just kind of come to me out of this. So I like to hold my hand over and just kind of sense if any are warm to the touch. This one kind of feels like it wants to come out. And this card, again, is our anchor card. So we'll flip this over last. Let's see. What is he thinking? What does he want? And where is his head at in this new fling, this new emotional relationship, this new spark? Ooh, this one's very warm. Okay. I'm going to pull one more. All right, what's he thinking? What do we need to know? What guidance do we need to ask for assistance here or a pointing in the right direction? Okay, I like this one. So we're just going to start with this first card, and we have the 3 of Cups. And the 3 of Cups is a good card to start off on. It basically is just telling us, hey, there's a good, healthy energy transfer here. There's you knowing how to pour into the buckets of others. There's others knowing how to pour into yours. And it seems like a pretty healthy relationship. So we're going to put that there. And the 3 of Cups can also kind of symbolize emotions taking dominance in this reading, especially for the first one. So let's see for card number 2. Okay. So here we have the Tower, and the Tower is sometimes a scary card because it's the card of sudden realizations. It's the card of massive paradigm shifts. It's the card of a lot of things in life that we might have thought were very stable, kind of coming to an end and an abrupt end at that. So this card can be scary, but without these sudden realizations, we can't grow, we can't learn, we can't move forward with our life in a healthy way. So sometimes this is the card that comes in and really just shakes things up. It'll shake up our day-to-day life. It'll shake up our rituals. It'll shake up our romances. And sometimes this card can come when, again, there's been cheating, or if there's been any sort of duplicity. And a lot of times I've noticed this card will actually show up if a man is saying he's loyal, or a partner, I guess I should say. If a partner is saying that they're loyal and maybe talking to somebody else and you're about to find out about that, or you already have recently. So this, again, is the card of big discoveries. And sometimes they're not always pleasant to endure, but without these paradigm shifts, without these massive moments of realization and kind of those rose-colored glasses coming off, so to speak, we wouldn't find out these things until way later in life. And listen, I'm gonna put it plainly here, but if I were you, I would take this with a grain of salt, because sometimes we want these realizations to happen sooner versus later, because without this card and without these realizations, we could end up 3, 5, 10 years down the road with somebody who maybe isn't faithful, or maybe isn't aligned to the things and the goals and the ambitions and morals that we are aligned with. So this card can be scary, but in saying that, we can't... It's a blessing in disguise, I guess, is a good way to look at this card, because the Tower is a blessing in the fact that it illuminates, it shines a light on areas that are dark in life, but sometimes that can be a little painful. So I'm going to put that card here, and let's see what this third card has to say. Okay, so we have the Seven of Swords, and again, this points to either duplicitousness. This also symbolizes, there's a fox, there's somebody clever that's watching his back. He feels like he needs to watch his back in this imagery. He's holding lots of weapons. He's watching a fox kind of sneak away very slyly down here. This is the card of you not feeling comfortable enough to relax, to truly relax. And I'm just going to go ahead and real fast light our candle again. All right, there we go. That's better. But this card is a card where it's showing, hey, I need to watch my back. I need to be aware of all things all the time. And that is us putting ourselves in a state of sustained fight or flight. And when we put ourselves in a sustained period of fight or flight, our body, our minds, and our spirit can also get out of whack and out of sync with one another. So depending on how long you have felt this way and you have lived in this state, this fight or flight state, this can be very damaging to our nervous systems too. It might take a little rewiring, and it might take some hermit time. So if we pull the hermit in this reading, I will not be surprised, because a lot of the times the hermit will appear after the Seven of Swords, because the Seven of Swords is essentially saying, hey, for a good period of time, you have sat there being like, I have to watch my back. I am not safe. I have all these weapons because I feel like I'm going to need to fight at some point. And it could be your intuition popping off. But you also see this fox, and that fox symbolizes cleverness at play and you watching your back and you needing to watch your back. So this feels like it should kind of almost come before the Tower, because I think you might have thought that there was a healthy energy exchange with this Three of Cups over here. And this might change as we're pulling cards too. Sometimes I like to just see, as we're pulling them, what intuitively feels right in this reading. But the Three of Cups could be you thinking that there's an even energy exchange, or you feeling like this new spark, this new relationship has an even energy exchange. But the caveat could be the Tower coming in and saying, hey, there's a sudden realization that might be a little unsavory, that might throw you off, that might put your guard up. And this could be you coming out of this Tower realization thinking, oh my God, I have to watch my back everywhere I go. So let's see what else this has in store for us, because I have a feeling that this is actually going to end up being a very helpful reading. And I have a feeling this is going to turn into kind of a beautiful transformation, because I feel like that's been the theme of these other cards too. So let's see if I'm right. So we pulled this in one of our other cards, but this is the Four of Wands reversed. And this kind of tells me that your ideal outcome, your ideal future, a family, a happy environment, a dynamic where everybody is driving, everybody is operating in sync with one another in a healthy way, where all buckets, coming back to this 3 of Cups, are being full, or are getting full in a healthy, productive way that aligns with everybody's morals and values here. But reversed, this tells me that your self-worth might be a little off. So you might be feeling like you don't even deserve a happy ending. And that is not okay, Queen, because that is not the energy we're going to bring into this year. So let's pull a couple more cards and see if we can get just a little more clarity on what's going on here, because the Tower is a major arcana card, and major arcana cards typically symbolize major events in life. They typically symbolize divine intervention. They symbolize our higher power at work. So if you've been praying, if you've been, communicating to your higher power, that could be them coming in and just saying, hey, we recognize that you've been through a period of life that's been very difficult, but without that knowledge being shed on this topic, you might have gone years down the road without fully understanding kind of what was going on in the misalignment that was there in this relationship or this new fling. So let's see. Wow. Okay. I think they were being duplicitous here. And I think maybe that's what you were finding out, because we just pulled the Justice card, and the Justice card, this symbolizes the weighing of actions. This symbolizes, of course, justice, but this is also a major arcana card too. So this combined with the Tower is very, very intense for this reading. So I'm going to put this here because I feel like these two definitely go together in some way, shape, or form. And I'm not quite sure how yet, but already I'm seeing with the duality of these two, I'm seeing the Tower as being, hold on, let me just grab these. With the duality of these two, I'm seeing the Tower as being that moment. I'm seeing the Tower as being that moment of sudden realization, of a paradigm shift, of knowledge coming in, of you finding something out, you maybe walking in on something or something like that happening. But it was a major, major shift in where you put your beliefs, where you put your faith, whether that was another person, a relationship. This could be infidelity. It could be lying. It could be something else entirely. But the Tower is a massive shakeup in life. And then here, boom, you have Justice coming in and saying, hey, whatever happened in this Tower scenario, she's coming in hot afterwards, and she's saying, don't even worry yourself, okay? Don't even worry yourself about whether or not this other person who behaved badly in whatever aspect here, this other person who behaved badly to the point where it had almost essentially spurned this Tower moment for you. But whoever it was that behaved badly enough to kind of spur this Tower moment, Justice is coming in and saying, hey, don't even worry about them, because they're going to get what's coming to them. In the end, they're going to get exactly what they put out into the universe energy-wise. So if they're being rotten, they're going to get that energy right back at them, sisters. So don't even worry. Don't worry yourself about the things that you cannot change, because Justice is saying that she already has it figured out. And Justice is a lovely card because it's also, in my opinion, kind of a bit of a karma card. So Justice kind of comes in when there's either ancestry at play, and even sometimes the Justice card can come in when your ancestors are like, oh, heck nah. And it can be a loved one that's passed over that has watched the situation play out and kind of is just sitting over your shoulder like, sis, I'm going to make sure you're okay. And I'm going to make sure that they get the karma that they deserve. So whatever this situation was over here with the Tower and with Justice, just know that you don't need to take action on this, because karma and the divine forces that be will take care of that for you. Let's see what else we pull. Get our cards here. We'll see if anything spits out at us, but already this is looking like a very intense spread. Actually, I want this one. Wow. Okay, so we have the reverse Knight of Swords, and the reverse Knight of Swords kind of symbolizes forward movement in the terms of kind of just learning the entire truth of whatever this situation is. But reversed, the Knight of Swords tells us that there's something that's either holding us back from the pursuit of knowledge, or there's something standing in our way as an obstacle on this path. But the Knight of Swords also tells me that you want the truth, and you want the truth even though it's painful, or even though it might not be what you expected, what you wanted initially. You do want that truth. You do want that clarity, that resolution. And upside down, this card can also point to the fact that that resolution and that clarity of why, it may not come, or there may be an obstacle in your way in getting that clarity. But I think that's also part of the reason Justice appeared, because Justice might be telling you, hey, even though you might not get the clarity you wanted, if you can't talk to this person anymore, or if it's not mentally healthy or physically healthy for you to be around that person anymore, if this is an ex-fling or an ex-relationship or an ex-spark, if they did something that really, really upset you and it's not possible for you to get this clarity that you're seeking, just know that Justice here definitely is coming in saying, hey, don't worry about it, because they're going to get what's coming to them. So you get the energy that you give out in life. You know, if you are of love and light and you protect your energy and you foster good relationships and you're kind and you lead with a strong heart and a kind heart, that is the energy that will come back to you. But the people that do not, mark my words, they do have that energy coming back to them. So we're going to put this guy over here, because I feel like the upside down Knight of Swords is the upside down Four of Wands. This is kind of your journey, I think, moving forward. And I think the upside down Four of Wands might be about self-worth for you. So we want to change that, sister, because you deserve to feel like you are worthy of all things, because you are, first of all. And second of all, we can't let certain relationship scenarios define how we perceive our own worth. I think that's something that we've all had to deal with, but you are worthy of this happy ending. So please, please keep that in mind. All right, let's pull a couple more. I'm going to pull maybe 4 more out of this deck and see what we get. All right, let's do one of these. All right, Spirit, what do we need to know? What is he thinking? What advice do we need for the future? I'm going to pull this one. I thought this one, yeah, this one feels warm too. So we're going to pull that one. And, ooh, that's very hot. Okay, I want this one. And I'm just gonna, yeah, okay. Okay, and then we do need one more card. So let me do one of these. Okay, that one feels really hot. Okay. So I picked us 4 more cards, and we're just going to go ahead and start flipping these bad boys over. Okay, so I think this speaks to our self-worth a little bit, because I just pulled the upside down High Priestess, and this tells me that you have everything in you that you already need to move through the situation and come out better for it, but you either may not believe that, or whoever this was in the past really took a knock to your self-esteem and made you feel like you almost lost your divine femininity, your divine magic inside, that magnetic force that really works in our lives to help bring us to what we want the most, and that really just helps us along in our goals. I think whoever started this tower moment over here for you, relationship or new spark-wise, I think they did a little damage to your confidence and your self-worth. So keep that in mind, because you deserve to feel that inner power again. You deserve your divine femininity, and you deserve to have this happy ending. Okay, so let's pull our next card. All right, so our next card, I love this, is the Two of Cups. And this tells me, this is such a good card for where we are at in this reading right now. But this card tells me that your true love, your soulmate, your twin flame, whoever it may be, there is a very, very strong love connection coming. And if you haven't met them already, you might in the near future. And I think it's probably, if I had to take a guess right now in this reading, it would probably come after you do this inner work here. After you do this little bit of shadow work where we work on, we are worthy of this outcome that we want, this future that we want. We are worthy of seeing ourselves in a positive, confident light. And we are worthy of having the self-esteem and the confidence that we deserve. So I think once we work on these upside down cards a little bit with some inner shadow work, I think your partner, your ideal partner, and the one that maybe you were hoping was this guy, I think he's going to show up after you do your shadow work. I think he's going to show up after you do your shadow work, and I think you're going to know it's him right off the bat. But that's just my gut instinct. So let's straighten these cards out a tiny bit. All right. Okay, so our next card. I love this. Okay, so we have a Page of Cups. And this, so like I said before, pages are typically messengers. And a Page of Cups is essentially a messenger saying, hey, you might not believe it yet, but your person is coming. So, and the fact that both of these cards are cups too, with a Page of Cups and a Two of Cups, this is a really, really good sign in this reading because you've gone through your turbulent trial moment. Justice is coming in with divine intervention saying, hey, don't even worry about the fact that they might seem happy or they did something bad and they seem happy or whatever it may be over here, because justice is saying, hey, let karma, let the universe, let your divine power and let your higher power, let them take care of that because they are going to if they haven't already. I promise you. Because then these come in and say, focus on your self-worth, on your shadow work. And after you do that, this Messenger of Cups is saying you are going to be finding your person, I would say pretty quickly after you do this little bit of shadow work over here on your self-esteem and those types of things. Because the Page of Cups is saying that somebody who's going to fill your cup and fill your bucket as much as you are willing to put into somebody else is definitely on the way. So I'm going to put him here. And then the Two of Cups, that is the best sign of having a partner that's going to work out long term if I've ever seen one. So I think this is a great sign, these two cup cards over here. I'm just gonna adjust this camera just a tiny bit. Okay, that's better. All right, so let's look at this card. Wow, okay, so we have a Five of Cups. More Cups cards. So the Five of Cups essentially, and you know what? I think this could be actually, let me shift these down a little bit because I think this Five of Cups is probably where you're at now or the closest thing to where you're at now. Because I think that this Four of Wands and this High Priestess, I think these two are representing how you see yourself and your self-worth. And I think this Knight of Swords upside down is you pursuing the truth and pursuing the truth that you know within yourself. You know that you're a light, you know what you want. And I don't think you've doubted that. But I think somebody else has shaken you up very badly in terms of your confidence, your self-worth. And, sometimes when we go through breakups, people are very mean and it's not nice. But I think once you do this inner work here, you're gonna come to this Knight of Swords moment where you're like, okay, I am moving forward with clarity. I'm moving forward with truth and illumination. And I think when you actively choose that and you do this inner work and you choose clarity, you choose illumination on your path, I think that is where the Five of Cups comes in. And you know what? He looks a little tired. He's been through the forest, but there is still golden fruit on this tree. The tree is still fruiting. You are still fruiting. And you're tired, but you're not gone. You know what I mean? You still have life to live, sister. So you better buckle up and get ready, because life is coming and your partner is coming. And this 5 of Cups is telling you, hey, sure, a couple cups have been spilt, but not all of them. You still have stuff in you to give to the world. You still have light in you to give out into this world. You are not useless. You are not this whatever it is that this person has made you believe or has invited you to believe in some sort of way. This is you saying, I'm tired, but I'm still carrying on. I'm still capable of filling somebody's bucket in the way that I want mine filled. And I love this for you, because this is also the card of resilience. Okay? You've been on a war-torn path. You're exhausted in love. You're exhausted with your emotions. I don't blame you. But this is the card where things start to turn for the positive, okay? And we're getting lots of cups, which is telling me that this is going to be a very fulfilling emotional bond for you when you meet this new person. And I really do think that these 2 cards, with the Page of Cups coming after the 5 of Cups and the 2 of Cups, I think this says, hey, we acknowledge the strife. We acknowledge the fact that you're kind of getting up, you're ponying up. You're like, listen, I'm not done yet. I'm ready to get back out there eventually, but I'm a little tired. I'm a little war torn, I think after that moment of kind of, I've done the inner work, I'm a little tired, I'm a little scared to date again, maybe. I think after that, you're going to find your person. And I think this Page of Cups over here could even be a sign for you. It could be divine intervention saying, hey, when you meet this person, you're going to know. Like you might have some sort of message. And it could be like a bird. It could be a butterfly. It could be, just some sort of imagery. But I think you're going to know this person that is going to be a great match for you with this 2 of Cups. I think you're going to know somehow, because I think you're going to have some sort of symbolism there. But let's see. I'm just going to pull one more for clarity on the future. All right, Spirit. Any last bit of advice before we go for our anchor card here? What advice do we have for the future? What advice do we have for the future for dealing with any of the things laid out here on this spread? And if this all resonates with you, by the way, feel free to drop a cup emoji, since we have a lot of cups here. I'd love to know if you guys are resonating with this or if you're still with me. All right, let's keep going until one spits out. I always love when they spit right on out of the deck. Wow. Okay. Oh, so both of these spit out, and I was only going to pull one, but look at what spit out. We have 2 more cup cards, and arguably, well, not 2 cup cards. We have 1 cup card and 1 Ace of Wands, but we have 2 aces. We just had 2 aces spit out at us, guys. This is a great sign. This is, you know what? I think the whole theme of this reading is a transformative power being at work, because this is giving Phoenix energy again. But the Ace of Wands, this is your future too. This is powerful. So when I asked for these cards, I said, give us any insight for the future, and both of these spit out. Both are aces. And this tells me that you're going to, not only are you going to find your person or somebody that is really going to have a healthy energy exchange. They're going to fill your bucket. You're going to fill theirs. You guys are going to understand each other. You're going to feel seen by each other. It's going to feel like a really good partnership that's healthy and long-term potential type of deal. But for the future, with us also pulling Ace of Wands and Ace of Cups, Ace of Wands is that initial hot spark. This is that initial chemistry of, oh my. This is that initial thought of like, ooh la la, who is that coming into my life? Ooh. So don't be surprised if someone soon pops into your life and it is just fire and flames, and that initial spark is undeniable, because that is what this is saying. So I think the Page of Cups was right on the money here with saying that you're going to know immediately when you meet this new flame. You're going to know that it's them. You're going to know that it's going to work out, and just have a little faith in the universe, and that the universe does have your back, because it does. But this is saying that new spark is going to come in hot, 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 and you're going to be obsessed with each other. And then the Ace of Cups card on top of that coming in at the same time. Oh my God. I love it. I love it. This is like the best possible ending we could possibly have in this reading. So the Ace of Cups is basically saying, hey, you just hit the jackpot. You're going to have a new flame, a new spark. You're going to recognize them immediately. And it almost might even be like a twin flame. You might have known each other in a past life. I'm almost kind of getting that feeling of you're going to know when you meet this person. And I think it might be a past life connection. But not only are you going to immediately know and understand what that spark means, but then the Ace of Cups, this is a direct answer to my question of what can we expect in the future, because I do believe this is the future card. And this just confirmed that this Ace of Cups is you hitting the jackpot with this person. Look at that, folks. Look, Ace of Wands, Ace of Cups, Two of Cups. That is our final spread for our future ending on this reading, and that is incredible. Ace of Cups is basically saying, hey, you hit the gold mine. This is your person. And if they're not your person, they're at least going to be around for a very, very long time. And I just get the sense that this person is probably your person. And with that big of a spark initially, and then pulling the Ace of Cups with that is spirit confirming without a shadow of a doubt, you're going to meet the person you are probably meant to marry, or at least be around with for a very, very, very long time to come. So take some peace in that info. And if any of this resonates with you folks, feel free to drop a cup, like I said, or a little fire emoji, because somebody's going to be meeting their new flame. All right, folks, that's it for today. And my name's Nova. Thank you for staying on with me. Until next time.